Hello and welcome to the Zwift Race Place. I'm Kate Fravel, back with another community coaching tip video for you this week from Evan Flater of the On the Rivet Racing Squad. He's going to be showing us how to transfer your data from Zwift Power into Excel for some more in-depth analysis and give some tips on what your weekly training schedule should look like. Just a heads up, for anyone who's not too familiar with Excel, what Evan is saying may sound a little confusing, but we'll give you a more advanced breakdown of some of the steps that go into transferring your data after Evan is finished sharing his tip. We're going to get into all of this in just a minute, but first, I want to remind you guys to subscribe to the Zwift Race Place for more community coaching tips, live race coverage, and general Zwift knowledge. All right, here's Evan Flater from the OTR Racing Squad with his coaching tip for this week.
Hi everyone, I'm Evan Flater. I'm a Zwifter with the On the Rivet Racing Club. In the real world, I also race with the Escape Velocity Cycling Club in Vancouver, Canada, and coach the Devo team as well. Today, I was going to talk about the kind of importance of adding some strength and mobility training, but as I was going through it, I think I found something that could be helpful for people, and that's getting your data out of Zwift Power and having a look at it in Excel to look at trends over time. So as a little baseline, I took a case study of myself. First up, here's kind of my typical average training week. If I'm lucky, I'll get out for 2 mountain bike rides, but in summary, I'm doing roughly about 5 hours of Zwifting a week. 3 of them, those sessions are probably a race. About an hour and a half of 2 strength training sessions, and then cross training, around an hour and a half. Usually mountain biking, but sometimes some cross country skiing just to mix it up and get outside. So I've got 2 graphs here that I was able to pull from my data in Zwift Power, which I'll then tell you how to get that data out. So first I plotted my 20-minute and 5-minute power over the last 4 months, which just was about the 50 or so races and events. I cleaned out the events to kind of take that noise out of it. So this is only race data. I also smoothed it by taking a rolling 3 race average, just again to take some of the kind of volatility out of the data. And you can see over here, I've increased my 20-minute and 5-minute power about 11% for both of them over those 4 months from the beginning of October to the end of January. And going over to my 30-second and 15-second power, certainly a increase in power here as well, roughly 30% over that time. Now, I never tested myself, so I don't know if this is just a function partly of arriving at finishes fresher because of my underlying fitness and my 20-minute power is better, but roughly 30% increase for both of them. I'll just step you through how I built these charts now, and then you maybe can look at your own data and see what's working and what's not working for yourself. And so for Zwift Power, what I did was I went to my profile. I selected starting with a little hash number sign, dragged across for all the column headers, and then dragged down to highlight all the data. Then I hit Control C to copy that data, and then I pasted it into Excel. You'll have to make sure the data lines up. Sometimes I think it shifts over the column headers versus the underlying data. Then what you want to do is to get the information that's in those cells into number formats so Excel can read them, because Zwift Power posts them as 3.3 W-kg. So we want to separate the number from that W-kg. So this is done by using text to columns, by highlighting the data you want, clicking data in one of the ribbon tab, going text to columns, delimited, going to next, then the delimiters using other, and then you can put in a little W. and then hit next and finish. Make sure you've already added a column next to it, otherwise it'll overwrite the data that's in the column next to it. So if you want to have a blank column, you can then delete the WKG text, as you don't need that. And you can do this for all the columns in sequence. And then you can start to play with the data and reflect on, what's helping you, what's hurting your performances. Maybe you're overtraining. Anyways, if this is helpful, comment below. If you have a better method, which there probably is, of getting data out of Zwift Power, please also comment and let us know below. Thank you and happy riding.
Okay, so for those of you who want a little bit more of an in-depth explanation of what we're going to be doing here, stick around. But if you think you've got this down, click on the card in the upper right-hand corner of your screen to check out more of our community coaching tips videos. Alright, so to start, you're going to need 2 tabs open, and those 2 tabs are your Zwift Power and an open spreadsheet. I'm using Google Sheets here, but this could also be an Excel spreadsheet. And you see I've just got it titled Zwift Power Data Analysis. So the first thing you want to do is come over to Zwift Power, and you're going to need to select the data that you actually want to analyze. So you can do this by clicking columns and then getting rid of all of the columns that you don't want. So I don't care about my average power, watts, or normalized power. I'm just going to be analyzing my 20-minute, 5-minute, 1 minute, and 15-second watts per kilogram. So I can get rid of everything else here. And just to note, in order to uncheck things, you have to actually click on the word itself, as opposed to the little box, just kind of a weird little glitch in Zwift Power. Okay, so now that you've got all of that unchecked and you're left with only the data you want, you can highlight all of this and copy and paste it into your spreadsheet. Just going to copy this using Control-C. Then head over to your spreadsheet and you can use Control-V to paste into your spreadsheet. So hit Control-V, pasted it twice there, and then you can get rid of all of the columns you still don't need. So you shouldn't need this category thing, so just click on the column and delete it. You don't need what place you were in either. Really, the date and then the 4 categories of data are the most important. So you can get rid of this column as well. Then just use Control-X to cut and paste over there so that all of your columns are in the right place on the spreadsheet. I'm using Control-X to cut and Control-V to paste. Okay, so once you're here, you're going to need to take out the WKG part of your data so that this is in a format that the Google Sheet recognizes. So first we need to add a column next to every one of our data categories. So just click here and then you can right click and hit Insert One Right, and then do this for all of the columns. So add another column next to all of your data columns. And then we're going to use the text to column tool in Google Sheets to split that out. So select your first column and go to data. And then down here, you can see if you scroll down, there's this option here, split text to columns. Click on that button, and this should pop up here, your separator. So you're going to want to customize it and split at the letter W. And then you should see this automatically splits out the letters from the column to the left, and then you can just delete everything from that column because you don't need those letters anymore. Alright, then you can do this across all columns. So once again, it is column, data, split text to columns, custom, and split at the W. You can go ahead and just shift over all of your columns so that they're all next to each other. Once again, I'm using Control-X for cut and Control-V for paste so that all of the columns are in the right order here. And now you can go ahead and make your chart. So I'm going to start with one chart for my 20-minute and 5-minute watts per kilograms, and then I'm going to do another chart for the 1 minute and 15-second watts per kilograms. So Click here and you can highlight all of that data there, the 20-minute and 5-minute watts per kilograms, as well as the dates. And then go over here on your little taskbar and hit Insert Chart. And this should automatically insert a line chart. And so it should automatically insert this, and you can change it if you would like. Your data range is correct at A1 to C45, but you can change that if you need to, if it doesn't come out correct. And you can see we still need to add some titles on the axis and title to the chart itself. Luckily, this worked out, so we have our line labels. So we can head over to the Customize tab now, and you can mess with your chart style, change the colors and stuff, but I'm just going to do the most essential things here, which are chart titles. So I'm going to call this CF Power Analysis. And then this took place over 6 months. Excuse me, just a typo there. Okay. Then once you've got that done, you can head over to your horizontal axis title. Make sure that says date, and then your vertical axis, which should be in watts per kilogram. And now that's your first chart. So that's essentially what you do for both charts, but I'll walk you through the next one really fast. Okay, so for chart number 2, you can just highlight everything again. Well, this time highlight everything instead of just the first 3 columns. And then once again, go over to the Insert Chart button. And you can see this inserts all of our data series. And you can create a chart like this, but I'm going to go down to the series controls here and remove the 20-minute watts per kilograms and the 5-minute watts per kilograms, so that we're left with just our 1 minute and 15-second data here. And now it's pretty much the same as our last chart, so I'll just speed through some of this editing here. Okay, so now that we have our charts looking mostly identical, I just wanted to show you one more thing that you can do with your charts, and that is to add a trend line that shows your data progression over time. And so for this, you can go to Series, Apply to All Series, and then scroll down to a trend line and just add that in. So you can see here, you can change the opacity so that it's easier to see if you'd like. Now these are a little bit darker on here. And then there's other edits that you can make to this. You can change the thickness of the line. Now you can see those 2 trend lines are really thick right there. I prefer to leave it on 2 pixels and around 70% opacity. And now you can see those trend lines. I have a very slight rise in my data over time. And that just kind of shows your progression over time. And hopefully it shows you getting faster. Alright, so that is all for how to build those 2 tables, and I hope this helps you out with some of your data analysis. And once again, thanks to Evan Flater for teaching us how to do this and for sharing a little about his coaching schedule every week. Alright, thank you for watching this video, and for more from the Zwift Race Place, click into our complete coaching tips playlist or our video on Zwift from a junior's perspective, both located over to my left. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the Zwift Race Place for more community coaching tips, general Zwift knowledge, and live race coverage and commentary. For all you juniors watching out there, remember, sign up for the new Tour for Kids event happening this March. More details located in the description below. Once again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Zwift Race Place.